Hello, this is Scott Barrett, and I'm going to go through a training program we have, How to Build a Thriving Real Estate Business. This is really 101, but the whole goal here is to show you all the different ways that you could obtain customers, and then show you the skill sets that you need, and then analyze things that you should do as far as the pros and cons of the different methods that we teach. But so let's go forward. I'd like to remind you that when you operate your business with these things in mind, and I think we can all agree with this, caring is in everything I do, giving is more valuable than receiving. This is a people business, and when you take interest truly by heart in the customer, guess what happens? You're taken care of. It is a people business, and when you do that, not only are you taking care of that customer, what are you doing? You're reaching through them to other customers in the future. You're building basically a raving fans for your business, and that is one of the most valuable business tools I can tell you. Let's look forward. We have these affirmations that we wish that the agents would really focus on. That action achieves purpose. If you don't take action, you're not going to achieve your goals. Learning empowers greatness. By taking learning continuously, you will continue to be stronger at what you do. You'll stay motivated in your business, and you'll achieve more. Confidence catapults success, and for sure, this is one business that you do have to have a level of confidence. If that's an issue, that's an area where we can help you work as well. Momentum determines results. Again, once you get something working and it's achieving results, it's about repeat, and continue and refine that as well to achieve greater results from that. And then I always say compete to win. That means that don't to always give your best performance. Um, Sometimes we just assume that we're going to get certain business, and we don't give the performance that we would have given if we knew we were competing with the top agent in our market. And when that comes about, it might surprise us and we may lose the opportunity. So you always have to compete to win. We all agree with that, right? So, real estate professionals are entrepreneurs, and I want to remind you, as an entrepreneur, there is no ceiling to what you can accomplish in this business. Um, it's just topless. So, who is in control of my success? I am with no limit. So, um, the company's not in control of your limits. You're in control of your limits. It's what you do that will determine what you achieve. Success won't just come out and find you. You have to go out and achieve it. So you have to take action on your business. How is Florida Luxury Realty part of my success? They give me encouragement and knowledge. They provide me amazing tools, services, and support. That is our number one goal. How do you build a thriving real estate business? So let's go through some of the things that we're going to learn today. The purpose and objectives is review the 7 methods for generating customers who require the services you provide, and understand through analyzing the values of each method and derive their potential impact on your overall business success. How to create your real estate business working structure through understanding and implementing 5 entrepreneurial fundamentals used by successful real estate agents. This is by successful people, regardless of what industry they're in. Techniques to overcome the personal obstacles that commonly get in the way of achieving the level of success we desire for ourselves. So these are really what we're going to be focused on here. Okay, so um, Do you know how to start a business and make it successful? It's probably not something that most of us have. And certainly the real estate licensing school didn't teach us. They just taught us how to stay in compliance with Florida laws and stuff like that. Maybe you do have a degree in business from college. That's a possibility. Maybe from your previous job you have some skill set, but for the most part, most of us don't have all of the answers about being a successful business person. And really, you're in business for yourself. And it's all about what you do that's going to drive your success. Are you equipped with the knowledge and understanding to be a successful business person, a successful real estate agent? You feel like you are? You do. That's good. So this is a live class. I'm teaching this live. So if you're watching this as a video, um, that's why I'm asking some of the questions. Success as a real estate agent requires devotion to actions that result in successful closed transactions. Pretty much sums it up in one statement, correct? We need to close sales. And so you have to look at the business and say, what are my actions from starting 0 point that I have to take and step forward all the way through that's going to end up doing the ultimate need, and that is to close sales transactions. I'll state it one more time. Success as a real estate agent requires devotion, and be devoted to actions that result in successful closed transactions. That's it. One statement. So, how do I find and connect with people that need our real estate services? So how is it that you're finding your customers? Without customers, there's no closed transactions. So we need customers. And so we're going to talk about many ways. Let's review the methods that generate customers for the services we provide and analyze the pros and cons, values to our business of each. So there will be points on the preceding slides where I'm going to stop momentarily because the whole purpose of this is to get you to think. And when you think and you write down things, then that's going to help maybe make you personally understand what methods might be more probable for yourself. And then I'm going to point out factual pros and cons, because I also will say this: sometimes the cons that we might see are truly not cons, it's just personal situations regarding confidence or willingness to do. So let's go through these. So one of the ways you could do it is you could absolutely purchase real estate leads. So on your handouts that you have, this is where we're going to do this. So I'm going to basically pause, and I want you to write down, to the best of your ability and knowledge, what the pros would be to purchase real estate leads and what the cons would be to purchase real estate leads. And I'm going to pause. And if you're watching this as a video for training purposes, you certainly can pause the video and then we'll pick up. But I'm going to pause for 3 minutes. So if you're new to this business, I'm speaking to the video. I am illustrating 3 companies that do sell leads. and that is Realtor.com, Zillow, and Trulia. There are also other entities that do this as a business model, but these are probably the most um, common ones that realtors do choose. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go forward and talk about some of the pros. There may be others that I have not mentioning here, but pros, you're receiving inquiries for your business, real estate. So those are leads. That's what you're looking for. The leads are typically warm, meaning that they obviously come to you because there's already some inclined interest in real estate, whether it's truly to buy or just for information and interest in information. That's to be determined when you try to speak back to them. Obviously, the goal and what it does is it does increase your business as well. Does anyone here have anything else they put down as a pro that I didn't mention?
I just put down that the leads come without me having to go out and get them.
Okay, and that's kind of where and so Donna says the leads come to her and I don't have to go out and get them. So you're receiving the leads, and I kind of stated that at the beginning. So you're not necessarily having to, in this sort of method, you're not having to make calls or cold calls, or they're kind of coming to you and they're warm, not what we call cold leads, right?
The
Okay.
other positive I thought for me was that it keeps me, whether it's activity or possible action, it keeps, like I've heard other agents say that have done this well, at least the phone's ringing, so it keeps like some momentum going.
Okay,
Whether
so
it turns into an action or it's just
Okay.
wasting your time, it's still activity.
Okay, so because you get occasional leads from this type of source or this method, it may help you continue your momentum, your interest in what you're doing. You're not burned out. You got things going on. Something's happening in your business. That's a pro. That's good. How about David?
Say another pro would be that since you're not spending time on lead generating activities, you can utilize that time in other areas of your business.
Okay, so if you're saying you don't have to spend time on lead generation activities, I'm going to say this about that is the fact that you should have multiple methods of lead generation. So I would say a better answer to that question or statement would be that you would have more time to spend on the other lead generation activities, and possibly other things. But if you only require, and this is why this is an important thing to talk about, is some of our agents in this industry, they get sold on a system like this, and I don't mean this, and we're almost talking about a con at this point, and we'll talk about that further, but um, it's you're very, and I don't even think I mentioned this in the cons, but you're reliant on the system to basically create your income for your business. And that's kind of a dangerous place to be, I think. So
Maybe I misunderstood the exercise. I didn't say I agreed with that. I said that could be a perception of why that's a positive.
okay, so you know that part of it is that you would have time to spend in other areas of your business.
It may not be a perception that some people would
Yeah.
have.
Okay. So let's see, cons. Leads are not pre-screened. Now that may not be for all services out there. So there are companies out there that say they provide leads that are screened. So I am somewhat speaking about the ones that are most probable that agents do choose are the Realtor.com, Zillow, and Trulia. So, and I'll just explain to the agents, if you haven't done this before, what happens is when a consumer goes on one of these websites, they look at properties, they find one that they say, I'd like to know something else about, basically, and there's a form, and they fill in that form to ask the question that they need answered or wish to have answered. And again, we don't know if they're really out to buy real estate. We don't know if they're or they may be ready to buy and that may be the home. You just don't know that. So those forms, when they're filled out, then if you're the agent that signed up for the lead, then that inquiry is delivered to you by text and email and for you to respond to that inquiry. But they're not necessarily a buyer, or they could be a buyer. You don't know that until you reach back out to them.
Also, Scott, do those go out to multiple realtors?
Okay, so the question was, does those go out to multiple realtors? The answer to that question is that I do know that these companies, and I know for specific Realtor.com for sure, has different types of product or plans that an agent can buy into to receive these leads. And Realtor.com says, do you want exclusive or do you want shared? So exclusive means you'll pay a higher fee to only be the one that gets the lead. The shared means that you and at least one other agent will simultaneously get the lead, kind of putting you on the radar to have to respond extra quick to get that business. So it's beating the other agent to the opportunity. It doesn't matter either one of these. Um, in this type of product, if you see the second thing on my cons, demands your instant attention. And I'm just saying that because if you do not respond almost instantaneously as they come to you, your likelihood of getting any opportunity out of them falls fast. And so the idea, they say you got less than 2 to 3 minutes span to respond. And they also demand aggressive communication to actually convert them, because the whole concept here is you're trying to find a system that creates income for you. And in order for this to work, you have to um, you have to be skilled at taking care of these leads. One, you have to attend to them instantly. So as soon as a text message comes to your phone, you need to hit the button and call them and try to get them on the phone, try to respond to them. It demands that if you just get a voicemail, that you repeat, try to text. You got to try all the different methods. So another con here is it requires a financial investment. So you now are spending money into a system and potentially you don't know what the return is going to be. And the return will vary no matter what with this system because, again, you will be guaranteed so many leads over a course of a period of time, but those leads may or not be truly viable customers, or they will vary in their time to actually purchase property as well. So, um, which means that you have to be an extremely good follow-up person. You have to use a system where you continuously massage that and keep in front of that lead until that actual purchase happens. So that could sometimes be months or even a couple of years. Um, so there's requires a financial investment without any knowledge of what the return is going to be. But can you change the return? You can. You can't change what the lead is that comes to you, but you could change how well you convert those leads based on your own efforts, skill set, and abilities to do all the things that are required to convert them at a high level. So there's undetermined return on investment. I have a few more comments about this. What to know. This is, kind of some bullet points of how you would um, service this type of method for generating leads. You need to address the request or reasons for contacting you immediately. So whatever it is, whatever that question is, or the reason that prompted them to be willing to fill out their information so that you could contact them, you want to, provide that information. Sell them on information they cannot get themselves. So what happens is once you get them on the phone and you're trying to create a relationship and an opportunity that you become the go-to person for real estate for them, you're not going to successfully do that by giving them something they can already get without you. So and I'll give you a perfect example. Most of us would want to say, well, let me just set you up on MLS and share properties with you. Well, they basically, when they're on Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, or whatever it is, they're on the MLS because that's the data they're getting is the same data. So your job would be to be able to talk to them more about the knowledge of the area, the things that are around the community. So if they called on a particular home and told you, they're interested in that home, and you have to try to have the knowledge to know what kind of lifestyle amenities or schools or whatever fit around that home, because that's the kind of information that you're able to capture them with that would be very stringent or almost impossible for them to find by going in the MLS data, right? Number 3 on here, call, text, email over and over to command a response. I will tell you, when I speak to agents that do this, the ones that are successful, they don't give up. Okay. If you try to call them and get a voicemail message and leave a message, and then that's the effort you're going to put forward to communicate with them, and you're not going to call back, and then you're like, okay, they're not interested, then this is probably not a system for you, because you're going to have a financial investment with little return. What the agents do that really have a high return on investment with this is they call, leave a message, text them, email them, call them again. They call them, text them, and email them up to 10 times a day until the person responds. And, sometimes the response is
Stop
quit,
it.
and you're saying, well, basically the agent says, you asked for some information. I took the initiative to give it to you. That's what I was expected to do. And then they try really hard to, calm them and convert them. If you don't get a response from them, then you don't got any business from that. So that costs you money with no income. So the other thing that is imperative that I think you use with us, any of your lead generations, but absolutely for sure with this, is you have to have a database system, a CRM, and then you have to have a follow-up system because you have to continuously follow up with these people. If you think about Florida, Florida is a state that we get a lot of people from a distance that actually interested in moving here. So sometimes this type of lead source will generate leads that are not even in Florida. So it may be weeks or months before they're actually going to visit us here, and we have to be able to follow up and keep in touch with them often to get the opportunity. Any more input or questions on purchasing leads as a method for your business? And Lan says nothing. So
We've
so
tested it and it's not, the return is less than 1%.
it's yeah. So I don't want to not say it's a method that would be good for your business, or say it that is not the goal in this training, because I will tell you, there's agents that do a strong business using this. And if you can do it, then so that would be a consideration. And others' responses are not so favorable that this is a right choice for them. This training is all about figuring out and understanding the different methods, and then figuring out which ones will work for your business, and then go after them and master the skills to do that. So, and I want to remind one more thing: you're reliant. If this is your lead source, you're relying on an external product on your income rather than your own actions. So, because of my favorable ways of doing the real estate business as a salesperson, kind of want to reiterate that. So
That's the con I started on my notes. You don't learn how to do your own fishing.
that's right. So, okay, let's move on to the next one: networking and volunteering. So I'll give you 2 minutes to write down pros and cons that you can determine by this type of lead source. And that's really just getting out and mingling with people, right? Um, and building opportunity through connecting with people. Okay. So you all wrote a lot there. So let's kind of look at this. Um, so pros becomes your sphere of influence, and we all know that's the people we know or we're connected with in life already. They'll do business with you because of that. They'll refer business to you because of that. So there's all kinds of value there. You're basically, if it's volunteering or whatever, you typically are participating in things that help give back or, um, you know, help a cause. And that's got two values in itself. Then anybody can tell me anything else as far as a pro in networking and volunteering? You wrote down a lot of things.
I think when you follow your passion, you can express your passion in that, and people will see your passion in what you do and draw them near to you. Again, affirming a spirit of influence, affirming your people. One thing I would suggest doing is looking for coaches or people that will support you
Hmm.
and help you network within certain organizations.
Absolutely. So, um, passion is a big part of it. This is, basically, obviously you wouldn't want to go get involved something that isn't of passion. And so this is like, in essence, somewhat of an activity that could be more like a hobby thing that, I'm going out and enjoying something I love to do. That's, we all hopefully love real estate as a workplace, but we have other passions, right? And so if you can connect other passions, now it becomes part of your work, and you're going to get rewarded on that, because the deeper you're passionate about something, the more knowledgeable you are. The more knowledgeable you are, the more knowledge you may be sharing with other people in that environment. And when you do that, then you're making huge, strong connections with other people. This is a people business, and we need people to obtain our services. Correct, and that's exactly it. Um, Anything, Donna, you want to add, or
No, I just had all the same stuff here, just about how fulfilling and relationship building and, I mean,
relationship
that's where your
building,
people
fulfilling?
are, and that's the people that you build trust with.
Hmm.
That's the
So,
community.
are you in any kind of networking or volunteer groups right now?
I guess it would be more networking,
Okay.
because I have a lot of groups that I do things with, whether it's golf or
Okay.
spiritual endeavors,
Hmm.
whatever, and those are the places that just,
Right.
you have your people that really trust and know you. So I
Exactly.
was writing down things that I enjoy, and I think I should probably, as Habitat for Humanity, I could certainly help them.
Hmm.
I would love that,
Right.
and, animal welfare, home building, and of
Okay.
course golf. I did, of course I've broken through right now, but just thinking about,
Where you could be.
where I would like to be,
Yeah. And
that I would like to do no matter what, and then the natural thing that will happen is to attract customers.
yep.
But
And that'll
secondary.
become part of it, because
Yeah,
you're building relationships. I want to know more about you, what you do, just as you will about them. And so once you make a good connection with someone else, and maybe they have a business of their own or service, you're going to naturally what? Consider them when you run into somebody that needs their services. And that's why this works so well. Anything you want to add, Dave?
Yeah, I was just saying, thinking, you get more recognized in the community. The thing I wrote down was increase your chances of opportunity, because obviously if you're meeting more people on a regular basis, the chances of meeting someone right at the time that they are looking for something to look, whether they're looking to sell, looking to buy, I think you just increase that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a numbers thing, so I
Yep.
think you increase that, spending more time out in the community.
Yep. So we all agree that there's a lot of pros for sure, right? Cons? There is none. I can't think of any. Um,
I put down
unless
time-consuming, but you know what, that's.
it's not, I don't think that's time consuming because if you are making enough connections with people, those people, in other
Yeah.
words, this type of product or this method, you don't have to sell.
No.
Okay, think about it. You're no longer selling. They they come to you asking for your business.
You know, we have to make
What,
time.
isn't that what we all want? We want people to just come to us because they seek us out for obtaining our business and services? Absolutely. I can't think of anyone that wouldn't.
No,
So,
The only other con, and it's not really a con, but I
Mhm.
love when it comes to most Reddit, is that, and this is a little more, I guess, cold-hearted way of looking at it, or ultra logical way of looking at it, but it's just determining what's the best, what are the best groups.
okay.
To get
And
the
we're going to
return
talk
on your
about
time.
that. Okay. So a con is determination of where does it make sense? And we're going to talk about that now.
And that's kind of what I put. I was following along David. I said, we need to
Identify.
set goals and identify what we want, our passion, number one, and just simply not to get lost and not be a secret agent while we're
Mhm.
volunteering.
Right. That's right. So let's talk what to know. Determine your opportunity as a real estate agent. So this is what I'm speaking to when I say that. And I don't mean for us to look at it only for our gain in our business, but it is a dual purpose thing because it needs to fill our passion, right? But we often need to determine the opportunities it brings to our business as well as helping them. And if that particular group or organization or system doesn't provide that, then it may not be the right place for us to be. Um, choose networking that aligns with your opportunity to reach the target customer. And so the target customer, and I don't know who that is for you, but it could be customers that are in a certain geographical area. It could be customers that buy particular types of homes. And so then you need to um, figure that out. So you have some prerequisite planning to determine these things out before you seek where you want to get involved, so that you're reaching your target customer. So if you wanted to, and you know, let's just, and I can probably relate to a couple people here. If you wanted to reach to families that are probably in essence of buying their first home or maybe move up home. Let's use move up home. So they're young families, small children. Now they probably need a bigger home. What would be a great thing? And I think you, David, may be doing this or could be doing this, volunteering as a coach with the baseball team. Now you're now you're involved and you're also in mingling with the parents. You're basically, in essence, teaching their children how to play baseball. When you do those kind of activities, you are definitely going to be a favorite for parents, especially if you're a great coach and they're learning and they're having fun and all that stuff. So you would maybe tailor that off and say, you know what, I want to sponsor the team and have my name put on the back of the shirts. I'll pay for that, or I'll want the banner at the back of this, the ball field, so that people like, oh, you're in real estate. I mean, so that would be a sound investment into your networking, and you are also being involved with your own children and your children's friends and the parents that are involved. That's what we're talking about. So, and that's so who's your target customer? Your target customer is the move up to a bigger home and get out of the first home customer. So that's who, and that's what you need to do. So you have to do prerequisites um, on these things to determine those kind of things. What is my goal? What is my customer? How do I reach into them? How do I participate in things that where they would be at so that I'm getting those customers. Take a leadership involvement position. So you can literally get involved in something, but if you just show up and have somebody say, do this, and you do that activity, that's okay. But who's getting all the focus on? The person that's leading the system. Everyone knows that person. Everyone goes to that person. So you're going to go a long ways by getting involved in more of a leadership or the a standout person. Now, that may be a personality situation for some of us. And so you have to think about this. Again, it's all about determining your methods. So this may not be a strong method for you if you're not a person that likes to be the leader in groups and stuff like that. So think about these aspects. Um,
Think about how you need to get out of your comfort zone.
get out of your comfort zone.
Think about that.
Your business doesn't grow if you're in your comfort zone.
You were,
So-
you had an example like that recently, something you were volunteering for, but
Yeah.
ended up not being a leadership type role. You explained to me this is a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Remember you mentioning it.
So-
Like, I wish I would have volunteered for a different aspect of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Indian Rocks Beach, Easter egg.
Yeah. That was it.
Are you the bunny?
Me
So-
and my children were the bunnies hiding in, yes.
So touch your real estate services and business at the right moments. So figure out how you can make sure people know that you're in the real estate business. But some of my concept would never always, and again, we don't want to come across at a time where we're selling in this particular type of method. You're not selling. You got people asking for your business services. And so you need to find the right ways to make sure they understand that you have the license to help them with real estate services. And that may be not necessarily broadcasting it in there. Obviously, have your name badge on. You don't want to be the secret agent. But what I think is a great thing, especially if you have a leadership role, is possibly after you do something that's more of a bigger event activity or something as a group, you could come back behind that the following day and just call them and say, I wanted to thank you for your participation. And by the way, I was hoping maybe we could do lunch. Now you have another place where you can talk a little bit more about the business side of it and strengthen your relationship, because you're not reaching only to that person, you're reaching through that person. Your job in this business, any business where you need customers, is you got to build a base of raving fans. And
love
this
that
is an
book.
amazing place where you do it. And so that's how, a great idea would be to say, hey, we did a great event yesterday. I feel so great that we did this and that and whatever. And by the way, I was, maybe thinking that if you had tomorrow lunchtime, I'd like to take you to lunch and we'll chit chat more. And now you have an outside appropriate place to, talk a little bit more about that. Or, you always should show interest in the people too. What is it you do? Tell me more about you, and then let me share about me. And then, see if there's alignment to trade opportunities together. All right, let's move forward. Method number 3, assist another real estate professional. So what would we do? What are our pros and cons for assisting another real estate professional? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. If you're writing, keep writing, that's fine. So go ahead, somebody who, give me a pro. There are pros.
Gain valuable experience
So you got,
if you're
yeah,
inexperienced.
so you got somebody else helping you learn the business, right? Somebody maybe more personable, helping you learn the business more closely. I think that's a great value. Anything else? If you're assisting them, they're potentially, you want to assist somebody that's probably sharing a few of their leads
Say a law of reciprocity kind of kicks in a little bit.
to help you learn the business, provide you leads so you'll earn income sooner, add additional income that maybe you wouldn't have, because maybe you are, and I'm not saying assistant necessarily, you can obviously, they have real estate teams, so you can assist another real estate agent becoming a member of their team, and then there may be some, written criteria of what that means. Sometimes that can mean that a portion of all your business is going to them as far as income, but if you're assisting in basically things like offering to do an open house at one of their listings, well, that's going to give you leads, going to help you earn additional income, correct? As you're trying to launch your business and get started and kind of be your own, they're going to be kind of a another go-to person to help you learn. Anything else?
I simply put limited cash outlay, you're kind of transferring it into a time investment instead.
Okay,
That's a concern.
limited cash outlay and time investment instead. Yes. Um, Probably you're going to be more motivated because you've got more involvement going on. Because we're, in this business, we're kind of our own, right? And um, we're responsible for who? Ourselves and not pretty much anyone else. So this helps. How about cons? Let me.
Not necessarily building your own brand or business. I mean, you can be through the leads, but I guess you can look at it as being slowed down a little bit.
Okay, so you could be, and that's not on here, and I didn't think about that, but that's really good. So you could be not necessarily building your own business, but maybe feel like you're building somebody else's business. That would be more on the essence if you're, more of on their team versus just getting, being a host open house and stuff. But I will tell you, I know agents that do give their best and they're on teams and but the only one that's getting all the glory of the success of the team is the individual that running the team. So all the listings and all the sales are going under the name of someone else rather than that agent. So there is some giveaway for that. However, maybe that would be an entry place to start and eventually be on your own. You just have to be, concerned about whatever agreements that are in place between you and the other individuals that you're working together with. Um, so that's something I can be involved in helping out if that was a consideration. But the only real con I felt was super big was, and it's not really big, is that you're going to be sharing. Obviously, potentially going to share some of your income with them if they're giving you direct leads. Now, I will say if if Donna had a listing and she was willing to allow Dave to do an open house, she's not necessarily going to be asking for any of the commission should there be a buyer as a result of that. That's typically what we do. So there is opportunity if there's an agent that has some listings and you want to drive some leads quickly, you could volunteer. Hey, can I do an open house for one of your listings? That helps the agent that has a listing by showing that things are being done for the listing to the homeowner and things like that. So But if they're providing you some of their overflow of leads, you're probably going to be sharing a segment of the commission with them on top of the portion that goes to the brokerage as well. However, it's additional income. However, it's income you wouldn't have. So don't look at it in a negative way. It's actually a positive because it's still more money. It's still helping you learn. It's accelerating your business. Those are all positives. So don't necessarily consider this con a con. Anything else you want to share about that one? Okay, it's another way, another method. Advertising campaigns, mailings, print ads. I'm going to add social media ads. Mailers we talked about. So what are the pros and cons of advertising campaigns? I'll give you 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to show you the pros, and there may be more if you can present anything. They could generate warm leads. And it's kind of like the buy leads kind of thing. If it does succeed at doing that, then what the people are contacting you. And the concept is you'll be able to capture a desired customer, a target type customer, right? Because if your message is written in a way, so if I wanted, and I'll make it kind of bold here, if I wanted to list more homes, I wouldn't put an ad out that solicits for buyers, right? I mean, I would put an ad out that solicits strictly to sell or get listings. Or particular, if it were, I was looking for first-time home buyers, I may put an ad out that talks about down payment assistance programs or something like that. But that's, you're able to tailor it around the desired customer. So it's easy to talk about the pros, but what are the cons?
Pricey.
So financial investment and risk.
Extremely costly if you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly. So you need to, and I don't think I have skill on here. I'm going to go ahead and, but financial investment and risk. So you don't, generally, people that provide us the ability to do ads don't give them to us for free. So we have to pay for them. So we have to either hire out and rely on somebody that's an expert at creating an ad that will cause call to action, or we have to hope that we do a good job and it actually is effective to get people to call us back. I'll also add that in many cases, advertising, is successful. It can create income and a return on investment greater than the cost, but sometimes it takes a period of time to actually be effective. So unless you're giving away your commission for free, use me and I'll sell your home for free, you're likely going to be needing to repeat some advertising over a stronger period of time to begin to see some positive results. And I can relate that to things like, if we, in the Tampa Bay market, if we were to think about who we would want to use potentially as a lawyer in the market, it would probably be who comes to mind that advertises heavily, Morgan and Morgan, right? So not necessarily who we'd want to use, but we could subconsciously think about them because they do so much advertising. Okay, and then there's those lawyers that do ads, but they've only done an ad a few times. They're not going to be as prevalent to our mind. So it could be a successful thing, but there's a strong financial investment and potentially risk if the message doesn't connect with the people to get them to respond to it. Um, I will say that social media is another place now that's probably the most economical and creates a pretty strong return on investment because they have such a strong ability to actually allow us to only put the ads in front of exact customers we're looking for. So if there was an area where you might invest in the advertising, it could be the social media environment is one of those. So I want to repeat everything that I'm showing you, all the methods is got pros. And all of the methods could achieve an income greater than the cost. So let's go on to number 5. FSBOs and expired listing prospecting. This is one of my favorites, folks. So as a real estate agent, Scott did a lot of these.
I called it
But
this a
that's
few weeks ago and she was so nasty. She told me that I was probably the 1200th agent that's called.
the 1200th agent.
Bless
So,
you. Bless you.
yes.
Nobody wants to sell that nasty little house.
Okay.
I didn't say any of that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's so annoying.
So you could solve her problem. I could kind of make sure no more call you. So
That's a good one, Scott.
pros and cons of FSBO and expired listing prospecting. And I think, and now that the slides that I'm going to present actually are missing a couple pros, but we'll talk about them. Write them down and let's talk about them. Pros and cons, you think, of FSBO and expired listing prospecting. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. And if you're still writing, that's fine. I'm just reminding myself that this is recorded, and I want to work on with that too. So pros, leads are basically relatively free. Who doesn't like free?
Pretty good.
Okay, free is good. I agree. Now leads, you're basically identifying people already needing the services you provide. Okay. Um, you get to choose your business, and I think this is very, very strong because if I'm spending my time um, seeking customers for my business, wouldn't it be nice to be able to pick who they are? Okay, and I'll give you an example of that. If I realize in my business that um, I want my average closed sale to net me $7,500, then I need to um, focus on seeking customers that have $300,000 homes. And I can do that with this type of method because I don't have to seek business from people that have homes that are lesser value than that. Okay. I'm not necessarily saying that's the right strategy doing this, but you can do that. You're picking your business. I'm going to say another pro that's not on here is this is focused on sellers or listing property. And when you list property and you market property, you actually get inquiries from the buyers. So this now is a mechanism that not only feeds the opportunity by listing property and utilizing it um, to market to buyers, now you're getting those leads for free. So you're getting leads. Now your business is actually kind of running without any financial investment if this was a method that you chose and put some time and effort into it. Anybody else have another pro that I did not mention?
I look at it as good sales training.
Okay.
Getting out of comfort zone for anybody who's uncomfortable with that. It's certainly a great way to help them expand their.
And
Your
some
skill
people
set.
might consider that a con, see?
That's
But it's not a con. I'm not necessarily saying it's a pro or a con, and that's kind of a conversation I want to have is the fact that um, in what a part of this needs to do is for individually we look at things and say, I wouldn't do that because and whatever. I have a fear of rejection. People are just going to say no. They're going to yell at me. Whatever that is, that's not a con, but that is, so if you said, I have the desire to wish I pursued that method, Scott, then and the but is, I don't want to be yelled at. I'm fearful of rejection. Then that is the area that you need to work on in your business. I've got to get past that. That means I got to get out of my comfort zone. That means I have to create a goal or a strategy or an action plan to overcome. And I personally was a very timid, shy person going into this business, and I ended my sales career very much a prominent agent in my marketplace that did most of my business model was prospecting, door knocking, calling these people, and I was making, head over heels with the opportunity. So, anybody else have another pro? Okay, cons. There are cons. Uh, competition. Donna said the comment she got from somebody. You're the 1200 realtor. So the competition's out there. because they're targeted, they've already targeted the people, and so, but so what? You're number 1201. I want you to know who I am too. Part of this business, we don't want to be a secret agent. You may have a confidence issue just because you feel like you're not as strong as the other agents that might be competing for that business, right? So that's an area where you say, I need to be stronger. I want to be as strong as the ones that are actually converting those. You got to work on that part of your business. That's the solution. And it can be done. I've proven it and I've helped others do it as well. Requires lead conversion skills. That's really the, so you might see that as a con, but, and it is, because if you don't take the time to create the skill set that actually then starts converting them, and you're trying to pursue these, you could be, I don't want to say this in a negative way, but you could be wasting your time because you're not getting results and you won't get results. And I personally did that as well. The first 4 months that I did it, I just said, well, I'll just go out and I can do this and I can talk to people. And then I was getting nowhere. I just loved getting rejected because I got rejected, rejected, rejected. But then I said, you know what? They preach, and the coaching says, say this, respond this way, use this dialogue. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And I did it, and I couldn't believe the difference it made. It totally it took it 180, and all of a sudden, and I was like, yes. I never heard so many yeses. And once I started to master what to say, it was incredible. So it's a very, so there's competition. And some of these people are, could be soured about the fact that, they're not getting any buyer calls, they're getting agent calls. And that's true. Yes, there is. But you know what? They're out there. They need your services. They need your help. 85+% of them are going to use you. Somebody use you, maybe use your competitor, maybe one of you, either you or your competitor. So who does it need to be? That's what you do. That's our job. If you're getting good at converting them, guess how good you're going to be at closing buyers to buy their home. You're going to be strong because you're creating a skill set that puts you above. So requires lead conversion skills. You can't do it unless you put the effort into the skill set. And that's kind of with all of these as well. Let's move on to number 6. Talk to people. Share your real estate services. I changed a slide today before we started this presentation. It previously said talk to strangers. I said, you know what? They're not really strangers. Just talk to people. Talk to people everywhere you go. And I have pictures here to illustrate at the gas pump, at the exercise place, at church, in the grocery line, at the restaurant, at the yard sales. Don't be a secret agent. So what are the pros and cons? I'll give you 2 minutes. Did you have to text a friend? That's good. I'm teasing you.
I am thinking about a customer.
I'm teasing you, all right?
Yeah.
All right. What was that game show? Text it.
You can text, you can call, you can call a friend, you can
Get it. Help you get an answer.
yeah, you can
All right. For those that are watching this on playback, we're just having a little fun. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and cons. Just talking to people in places wherever you're at. If you're out in the public and you kind of need to be out there, um, talk to people, share real estate. Pros: generates unexpected opportunities. Guaranteed it'll happen. That won't happen if you don't do it. Absolutely don't. You don't get it, right? Build your business brand, easy to influence because you're in front of people. So you're going to naturally be easy to influence. I mean, especially if you're paying them for a product or service, right? So if you're giving a waiter or a waitress a tip and you're like, by the way, I'm a real estate agent. You wouldn't happen to know anybody looking to buy or sell a home, would you? Could they be inclined to share with you somebody? Absolutely, especially you're giving them a tip at the same moment, right? And it'll add additional income. And if you just turn off the real estate thing and you go eat and don't talk about it to people, that's probably, and I'm not saying work 24/7, but what's the big deal? Just kind of tell you, Sharice is the one that I focus on because she just, no matter where she goes, whenever she hands out money, she hands her card with the money. So even if it's a cashier, the cashier has to set the card aside. And what better can you spend your 2 cents? Add 2 cents. Not even sometimes talking, just when she gives the tip at the restaurant, the tip has her business card with it. It would be better if she had conversation if she could, but still, you gotta promote. Anything else that's not mentioned here as a pro? Generates unexpected opportunities, builds your business brand, easy to influence, adds additional income. And you gotta find creative ways. You know, do you own a home? You know how the real estate industry is. Just find a way to bring it up and learn. Figure out some different ways, try them out, find ones that connect and bring up the conversation easy for you. Um,
Home Depot Paint Department.
I live
Yeah.
there.
yeah, tape a business card to all the paint cans. Okay.
Yeah, with the paint chips, that's a pretty nice.
Yeah.
With a stapler.
All right. So what about cons? Is there cons? I can't think of any either. Because of people business again. If we're out there sharing it and exploring any opportunities that we can get, then all we're doing is possibly getting opportunities from it. And if we don't do this, we're not getting opportunities. And think about it in the last 30 days, how many places you may have been and how many times you may have not shared it. Who knows who you could be working with right now because of it. It's just not, it's just not natural for us to do. But if you sit down and take the time to say, you know what, I'm going to relook at my strategies, the things I do. What do I do when I go places? What could I say? How could I bring up the conversation? I'm going to start doing this.
I was
And
sitting there
then,
with somebody I see every week just about, and he and his wife just wandered into open houses and they didn't even get a representative and they're buying houses from Harbor. They didn't even know, and he didn't even know I was real. I mean, I see him,
Right.
he's not like even a friend, he's more of an acquaintance, but
right.
there you go.
Yeah. It's, you're going to wish you did. And, doing this will probably add 5 or 6 more deals a year to your, and that's what, 30, 40 grand. So,
Didn't see the banner on the back of your car?
I don't
So,
usually have those things in my.
let's
folder.
move on. Number
Yeah.
6. We have 7. Oh, I guess that was misnumbered. Number 7. Contact your sphere and ask for referrals. I hope I didn't miss one, did I? Or maybe I only had 6. Or if I did, I don't know where I went wrong with it.
Bottom of the page, but it was there, yeah. On the page.
Okay. Did I talk about 5 or 6 already, or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is number 7. I think the previous screen was misnumbered. All right. For those that are watching this in video, please forgive the misnumbering of the slides or the methods. So contacting your sphere and asking for referrals. Who is your sphere? And I also call it my circle or my sphere of influence, or the people you already know. All of us have a smartphone. All of us have contacts in it. All of us have people we know. And what's the pros and cons of sharing with them real estate and asking them for services or asking referrals?
Well, they're definitely warm. Whether they have a need or not, is the question. They're definitely warm.
Yeah.
Easy to not reject it.
Okay, we may have just got disconnected. Let's see.
Can you add back onto it?
Let me go back in. All right, if you're watching this by video, excuse me, I'm gonna forward to the slide that we were on.
Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, I misnumbered them. Omar, yep. Okay. Okay, contact your sphere of influence, ask for referrals. They already know and trust you. You do business with people you know and trust, right? You do that before you would resort to somebody that's selling on you, advertising to you.
First choice.
And that's what this business is all about. You got to build a raving audience of people that will use you and refer you. They're easy to close. They're loyal. You probably at some point will have somebody that you do know, but they just not really going to use you. They're going to use somebody else, and they'll tell you why, because they have a stronger loyalty of that person. They're just closer to them. They know you. They're not untrusting of you, but they're closer to them. So the more you have people that are connected and close to you, that's going to draw that opportunity to you. It builds business quickly. So this is actually the number one first step in your business, is to communicate with all the people in your sphere of influence. Tell them that you're in the business. Tell them you're prepared to help people. You have somebody that's able to make sure everything is going great and smooth, and it's just going to add additional income. Not necessarily, if you don't do it right and don't ask, then you're not necessarily going to receive, because unfortunate to us, most people know 2 or 3 or 4 realtors now, and they're going to refer or connect with one of them, the only way it's going to be you is if you have built the strongest relationship, you keep in contact, and then some point you ask. I'm not so they may not be needing services, but if you um, ask them who they know, just communicate and ask them who they know. So interesting enough, and I'll talk really quick. So this evening, I'm doing a gathering with agents. We're calling it Power Hour, and we're going to do prospecting. The prospecting they're going to do tonight is their sphere of influence, and I help them create a way that makes sense that they can ask. This is what they're going to do: call and ask, and it's a contest. So I'm in my office. We're having a contest, and I'm supposed to call people I know and ask if you can give me a lead or a referral of somebody that needs to buy or sell a home. Now they're not feeling like they're selling on them for information. They're just getting support to win the contest. Is how you want to do it. So you could do that without the contest, having a contest with myself. But you got to ask, who do you know looking to buy or sell a home? Give them a moment, think about it, and if they want to help you, they're going to stop and think about it. And maybe they'll refer, maybe not. Say, if you haven't talked to them in a while, hey, I'd like to send you a couple of my business cards. Drop a note in the mail with some business cards afterwards. In this environment, you should depict in strategy who's the ones that have the most connections that could propel my business the fastest. And what do you do with those? Those you call and say, hey, it's been a while, or hey, maybe it's not been a while. Hey, can we go to lunch? Go spend some personal time with them, and then bring in the opportunity to get connected with people they know that need the services. Again, it's all about connections and trust. So if somebody trusts in that person that you're connected with, and that person will refer you, that's pretty much simple business again, easy to close. It's probably going to be loyal because I'm willing to use that business because land says they're good at what they do. They're going to get it done. They charge a fair price. I'm going to get good service. And so I'm going to go there. You need to do that with people in your sphere. If you do this only, and you shouldn't do only, this in itself could probably feed your business entirely. Because statistically, every person you know knows 4 people that do a real estate transaction every year. So if you only had 10 and you got all that business, that's 40 transactions. If you know 100 people and you only got 1 out of the 4 from each of those 100 people, that's 100 transactions. You don't have to go anywhere else if you work it hard. But for me, this was given business because I didn't have to work for this business. All I had to do is mingle with the people I know. And then when I worked my FSBO and Expire strategy on top of this, that's what propelled me to doing 120, 140 transactions a year. What are the cons? None. There's no cons here. And this is a strategy or method that every one of us should have in their business plan and business model, and the rest of them, you figure out which ones will work, and you should have probably 3. Use 3 of them. So the rest of this, I'm going to kind of move a little quicker because there's a whole nother section.
There is.
Yes.
Carpenter's coming.
Okay. Well, if you can stay, you can stay. If not, was this good?
This was great,
Okay.
Todd.
Well,
Yes.
bring
I
back
like
some.
this.
All right, I want to know which ones you pick
I'm
next
almost
week.
feeling like I'm getting close to just implementing all of that. So I'm
Okay.
thinking about it for a week.
All right, so I'm going to continue forward because I'm recording this. And thank you, Donna. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, we appreciate having you. What is the business term used for measuring or analyzing profitability from investment? ROI, return on investment. Return on investment. So when we talk about all the methods, we want a higher return than the investment we put in. What are our investments? Our investments are costs, expenses to our business. Expenses can be real money, real funds out of our accounts, or it could be time, energy, and effort. And for the amount of time or the amount of funds that we throw into our investments, because our methods are our investments, we need to come out of it with a bigger return. Profitability, that's what our goal is. What results do we need from a return on investment is a larger return than the investment. Pretty simple business stuff. So can ROI be different for each agent? So ROI can be different. The answer to that question is yes. Why? So, and this is what's so important about this is I could do a method. I could choose a method here, and another agent could choose the same method, but what would differentiate why one of us has a different result than the other?
Execution.
Execution.
I mean, skill, the close ratio.
So it could be available finances, right? Because if the method requires money, and maybe I have the ability to pour money into it, and another agent doesn't really have the money or limited money, so that agent, based on that, can't quite fund the method as well as I could. Also, there's determination to work it daily and commit to perfecting it. So these are the things that could create a different result between me and another agent or any two agents, correct? So is there the availability of finances? There's not really control on that part, right? Because it's just what we have available to us to be able to do that. But what about determination to work it daily and commitment to perfecting it? That you have full control on. So if it's purely a method that is not require finances, only the efforts and skills and the actions and pursuing it and doing it is the determination factor, why, that's really the result. Any questions to this point? Okay. So, so that's really the differentiator is that you have to go out there and you have to take action. You have to pursue it. You have to perfect it. You have to be dedicated to it. You have to be motivated. You have to have energy for it. If you don't, it's probably not going to be as successful. And everyone has the ability. I truly believe that. If we want success in our business for ourselves, we must create a plan and act on it. And that's another segment that I see that there's a struggle. There's no creation of an actual plan of action. No business plan. Without a business plan, you're going to be lost. You're going to get up in the morning and say, I don't know, what should I be doing? Maybe do nothing. You have to have objectives. You have to do those. I'm going to talk about 4 or 5 fundamentals. Fundamental number one, and these are fundamentals that just pure people that are successful have in their business and their daily activities. And that is to have goals and purpose. You have to have a purpose for the income you'll earn. Just thinking about the money itself, if it's money, is not going to be enough. What is it you're going to do? What is the purpose of the money? What are you going to do with it? And I have illustrations here. Take a vacation, put it towards family, save it, buy a new car, pay off debts, be healthier. These are goals with purpose. Fundamental number two, habits. Develop and keep them. Um, you must remain committed each day to the actions or methods that achieve results. So once you determine the methods that you're going to use to find your business, you need to create daily actions that achieve getting business from that method. And then you have to fulfill doing those actions every day or routinely in your business. And what will drive success is if those actions are habits. In order for them to be habits, they need to be set into a schedule, some sort of scheduling thing that you look at every day and say, that schedule is my boss, and my boss says I'm supposed to be doing this at 9 a.m. until 10 a.m., and those are the things you do. So your schedule shouldn't be an empty piece of paper or an empty calendar on Google. It has to have things in there, and you have to take action on those, and you have to do those things. So you have to put these into place in advance in order for them to actually be done. It's sad to know how many people don't have a daily scheduler at all and are just winging everything they do. um, and eventually, if you do, and for instance, I'll give we routinely have our training here Thursdays 10 to 12, right? So hopefully it's becoming a habit that that's what you do on Thursdays between 10 and 12. If we said, what time do you want to do training next week? And we just winged it and threw it in different spots on our calendar, we wouldn't be as connected to it. We wouldn't create a habit to come here because once, you don't even have to, those that have been coming, Dave, you don't even have to look at your calendar for training every week because what? You say, oh, it's Wednesday, tomorrow I go without even looking at your calendar. You're like, I go to the office and participate in the training class at 10 o'clock because it's now became a habit and something that's automatically embedded into what you're doing every week.
Yep.
So, fundamental number three, start your day early. Maybe you're not an early person. If you want to know what successful people do, they, for the majority, maybe there's exceptions to these rules, but they generally start the day earlier than average. Okay, when you start your day earlier than average, what happens is you get more done because you're able to attend to things, prepare yourself, get yourself mentally going before you have to deal with things or people or anything else because the world, as far as business, are generally designed to start or wake up at 9 a.m. If you're starting at 6:30, 7 o'clock, you've already accomplished a lot before you have to do the normal stuff or attend to people and things like that. So it's just commonly known that the people that are very successful are willing to start their day earlier. Does that mean you might have to go to bed earlier? I don't know, but starting your day earlier will make a difference. And if you just think about meditating, what am I going to get accomplished today? Reviewing your actions, um, rewinding and reviewing what you did the previous day, or who's at the top of my lead list, the next one to make a decision on actually writing a contract. All of those things you can accomplish by getting started earlier in the day. Fundamental number 4, set up a daily to-do structure. It's really what we already talked about, building habits. Consistency and dedication to daily ROI actions, return on investment actions. So I say that you should try very, very stringently, and I have included in your handout a structure, and we're going to talk about that you try to do certain activities on the same time period each day in your business. So you're developing habits and you're actually accomplishing the tasks. Because if we don't do that, we don't do the tasks. Even though that our mind says we're going to do something, unless it's scheduled and it's a permanent fixture, the likelihood that we will just not attend to that action if it's not a requirement. Lead generation, is that a requirement? It should be a requirement. It is the most important thing in the business, is lead generation. But is a customer going to call us out if we don't do lead generation? No, because the customer don't exist to call us out. Is the customer going to call us out if we're not there when the home inspection is supposed to be? Then yes. Okay. So the only person that can call ourselves out for lead generation is our own self. And we can get away without doing lead generation because the only person we got to answer to is ourselves. But our business ain't going to go anywhere without lead generation. Fundamental number 5, obtain great tools and use them. You cannot do this business only using your head and mind. You must invest into tools to help your business work. Now, fortunate to those in our company, we pretty much provide those. You get a CRM. We don't have a calendar or task list per se, but that's a free tool, right? That's Google Calendar. That's your Google Calendar. But we have transaction management system. The new system will have task management in it. But you have to have a CRM because you have to know where you can go look at your list of buyers that you're working with and figure out who's on deck to call next. And then your scheduler should have names of people to follow up with, or 5 names of people in my sphere of influence every day to call and touch base and ask for referrals and keep me on task. If you talk to somebody today that you should say in your mind, oh, I should call them back next Tuesday. Tuesday is the right day. But then you never put it in there on your schedule and you talk to somebody else, all of a sudden you're going to start missing it. You don't have to call them on Tuesday, but you should call them on Tuesday, right? Because that's how you're going to feed them to build the loyalty, to build the opportunity. So general follow-up is not a requirement, but if you want to succeed, it is a requirement. There's a difference. You don't have to follow up with people. The only person you're accountable to for that is yourself. If you're supposed to be at an appointment, then you're accountable to the person you were supposed to meet. In this business, I say the fortune is in the follow-up. because there's such a lack of people, and this may not be related just to the real estate industry, it could be just industries wide. People lack follow-up. The people that are excelling in this business follow up. They stay on task, they follow up when they should. You cannot do that from your mind. You have to use a system. You have to use a tool. So you need tools. They have to be great tools. They can't be Chinese made tools. They have to be craftsman tools. There's a value in getting the quality tool. See? Fundamental number 6, practice and master the skills. So I talked about 7 methods, and you have to create actions and skills around each of the methods that you choose in your business, and that's even in your sphere of influence. How do I bring up the conversation that causes me to talk about real estate and bring up the idea to get referrals? And you come up with some ways, and then you practice how to do that. If I'm going to call FISBOs and expireds, are you gotta go? Okay. Thank you for coming, Dave. Sorry, I'm trying to talk to this. I know. Was it good? Okay. All right, you can watch the recorded version when you're done. All right, back. So you're my student. I'll go through it pretty quickly. Practice and master the skills. That would be the dialogue. What do I say? How do I connect? How do I communicate? And I can't just wing it. I have to practice it. I have to do it and do a good job. Fundamental number 7, at least catch this, Dave. Keep learning and adapt change. I think you should always invest into learning because the world changes, and adapt change. None of us would want to be the owner of Blockbuster Video today or Kmart stores. So, hey, take care. All right. Yeah. If you want, I can just redo this later. Abide by policies and standards. Really quick. This is basically where I feel that as people in business, we should have our own business policies and standards. Basically, where this works is you could literally go out and list properties. You could have 100 listings, 100 listings and no sales. You could work with buyers and no sales. And why could that happen is because you have no policies or standards in your business. You need to establish policies and standards, and that would be, and I'll give an example. A policy could be, I will walk away from listing a property if the property is not priced within 3% margin of the market value. So we can list property, we can go in, allow the customer demand to dictate the list price, and the list price could be substantially out of the range to ever get an opportunity to sell that property. And therefore, what's going to happen? Ultimately, that listing is going to expire. I have no sale. I dealt with a customer and probably had struggles and stuff with a customer throughout the process of the listing period and ended up with no sale, which does not look good on my record or my stats. And if I do that too much, then my business is just floundering and getting nowhere at all. So you need to set up some policies and standards. I only work with a buyer. I will go see them one time. And then if they do not get a loan approval, I won't continue to work with them. That would be a standard or a policy that you have. because if I can't get people to get approved or that resistant, potentially that's telling me there's a problem with their financing ability, and likely I could spend hours and hours of time and energy on them and result in no sale, only to find out that they can't get a loan. So it's important that you sit down and create some policies. You may not know how to create those at the beginning of your business, but as you um, begin to work with people, you'll kind of learn. Obviously, you can get some assistance from a broker manager or the staff. If you want to step out, I'm going to finish this because I'm recording it. So, okay, it's good stuff, isn't it? No. Uh-oh. Okay. It's not going.
Okay,
Yeah, just
it started. It started up at the top.
it's not moving. That sucks. I'll just redo it. So,
Well, it's actually the timer's going up.
yeah, but the screens aren't forwarding.
Uh,
Yeah, I can start over.
honest, uh,
Yeah, I didn't.
is it stop?
I just stopped it.
It said stop process. You may be duplicating it. Small suggestion, you have 127